Hi folks, Master Boone Brown here, Ancient Ways. I wanted to talk to you briefly about belt graduation. We often get parents who will let us know they feel like their child is not ready to test for a variety of reasons. If it is something related to behavior at school or home, we are all ears and will 100% back your play. If it is related to attendance or the skill or ability of the child, we may not agree, but we will never cross a parent's final decision, even if we don't agree with it. We will discuss it with the parents and try to find an alternative solution. And let me give you some examples. One mom of an 8-year-old boy, just last week she calls and she says that her child has had 2 angry outbursts at school since school started. She confessed that his self-control has come miles since he started training with us, but she just can't let his behavior go unchecked. She said she would like for him to not test this semester and let that be his consequences. We will back her play 100%. That is her decision and her right. Another dad asked me to not let his child test because the dad says Joey isn't performing the dojo to his fullest potential. I disagreed with him, and we were able to sit down and work out with the father an alternative. And I think that what we did will explain to most people why our stance is the way that it is. So here's our way of doing things. We're a black belt school. We're not a yellow belt school or a green belt school. We really aren't all that concerned with the skill level of the lower belt ranks because we know something that those students and maybe a lot of parents don't know. Let's look at a couple of scenarios. Maybe that'll help explain. Let's say you got a kid who can't keep his hands up. Is it vital for him to have his hands up for real self-defense? Absolutely. But how's the strength in his shoulders? It's tiring to keep your hands up for very long, and if up until the day he started training here, he's never done it for any length of time, he's not going to have the stamina to keep it up there. And so it's going to take time to build that strength. A student may have a sloppy stance with the feet too close together, toes pointed the wrong way, front knee straight. Is it important for them to have a great stance to be able to defend themselves properly? There's probably nothing more important. But how's this kid's stance when he first started, when he first came in? Probably not very good. And how's his strength and his balance? Probably not very good. Let's say we have a student who doesn't seem to put much energy into their technique. They're sloppy, they're loose, they're poorly controlled. Is it important for them to refine that technique for accuracy and balance for real self-defense? Unquestionably. But it takes 4+ years to earn a black belt for a good reason. It takes 4 years to get all of those things together into a total package. That total package being able to defend themselves going forward and ongoing, hopefully for the rest of their lives. A new student lacks strength, motor control, flexibility, balance, and stamina. Building all of these things takes time, sometimes years. Some people want it right now. But if we scold the student and the parents correct from the sidelines or on the way home in the car, the child will hate class and want to quit, never earning that black belt and never really attaining the skills that go along with it, those self-defense skills that we want them to have. If, however, we are amazed at the smallest thing the child does, and the parents express pride and joy at the student's endeavors, the child will want to attend. They will look forward to it. They will love their training and easily get the black belt and along the way gain the skills that go with it. Now, I'm not saying we give false pride, but we can focus on what's good. We here at the studio use a method called PCP, or Praise Correct Praise. All right, I'll give you an example. Say that I've got a kid who's got his hands down. And so I go over to him and I say, hey, Joey, that is a really great stance. I love how the toes are forward and the knees bent. Can you do me a favor and put your hands up a little bit higher? Now you look like a warrior. Good job, buddy. I praised him for something he was doing right. I corrected something, and then I praised him again afterwards. Now, another method that we use, proximity praise, where we'll have one student who's doing something that's awesome, and we will praise him knowing that every other student in the room really wants to hear those same words with their name tagged to it. And so I'll say, man, this is a great stance that Jose's got over here. Everybody in the room at that point is checking their stance to make sure theirs is as good. These are just some of our sneaky ways to influence change and improvements in our students without tearing down the individual. So do we ever fail students? Never, we warriors, and never beginner students in our regular program. But at intermediate level and in our advanced program, in our regular program, we will make sure that all students are ready to test. If they aren't, we get them ready. If we've worked really hard and they still aren't ready, we will test them as soon as we can and not make them wait until next semester for a couple of reasons. We know it's going to be okay. At Red Senior Belt, right before Black Belt in our regular program, all students will take 3 months and review and retest on all the beginner material and earn a tip. And then they'll take another 3 months to review and retest on all the intermediate material and earn a tip. And then another 3 months to do the same for all advanced material. Then they will spend at least another 3 months getting everything ready so they are balanced, strong, flexible, have clean technique, and are focused before they test for their black belt. So if we do fail people, for what reason will we do so? It sounds like we never do. If a student is sincerely not trying, being lazy, or thinks they're better than they really are, we will work with them prior to the test intensively to try to make sure they are aware their skills are not to their own best standard. If that doesn't work, we will test them and fail them to wake them up. It is a poor thing to do emotionally, but the right thing to do in very few but certain cases. It almost always works to ignite a fire in that student. In some cases, they quit though, which is defeating for them and just adds to their own internal self-loathing. That is why we explore every other avenue we can before taking that path. Should your child test? Of course. Next week we begin a new semester and they're going to get that new material anyway, even if they don't test. We aren't going to come back and review this material that they are not doing well on now until they're a red senior. Black belt will eventually happen. So why damage their emotional state when we know, as parents, mentors, and instructors, that we're playing the long game? Let's test them. Thanks for listening.